Hello there, Goose from GGSP here with a look at Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Nintendo Switch. Now, we have our full review of this game coming soon, but for now I thought I'd jump in and show off some of the features which are new to this Switch version, because of course this was a Wii U game that came out in 2014, but of course no one bought a Wii U, so they've re-released it on the Switch, and they've added a couple of features which I thought I'd show off. Mainly it is a new mode which is called Funky Mode. And essentially what this is you take control of Donkey Kong's funky cousin? Uncle? I'm not quite sure, but it is Funky Kong, who is one of the staples from the Donkey Kong Country series, and he has a few extra abilities to make the game a little easier. This is a notoriously tricky platformer, one of my favorites actually. I put a lot of time into the Wii U version. And now they've added a character which might take some of the sting out of the challenge. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of that, but I thought I would show him off anyway here and let you guys make up your own mind. Other than that, the game is largely unchanged, which is a good thing. But of course, when you re-release a game, you need to add something new, and in this case, it's a sunglasses wearing, bandana sporting gorilla with a lot of attitude. And a surfboard. So this is Funky Kong, and he has a couple of extra abilities which we will show off. First and foremost, you can roll indefinitely without a Kong buddy. Previously you would have needed one of the other Kongs to do that, but not Funky. He works solo. And along with rolling forever, you can corkscrew underwater forever, which makes moving around underwater a lot easier. And also, you don't need to collect air bubbles for breath. He can hold his breath indefinitely because he has a snorkel and mask. Which is not exactly how a snorkel works, but again, it's a gorilla underwater. When it comes to actual platforming in Funky Mode, you can double jump, like so, and actually slow down your descent, which makes some of those tricky platforming areas a lot simpler. And then, last but not least, or maybe last, we've got an extra 3 hearts, because we don't have a Kong buddy. So, yeah, in this case, I can take 5 hits, I guess, opposed to the usual 1 or 4 if you had a Kong buddy. So all these things are in place to make the game a little easier, and that's essentially what Funky Mode is about, making the game a bit more accessible, which is nice, but at the same time, there's a lot to be said about the challenge in these games, and how that is part of the fun. I know I was raised on Donkey Kong Country games, and they're what made me the gamer I am today. Of course, the sad thing is you don't get any Kong buddies, so all the barrels are just marked Funky Kong, and they just give you an extra heart. A lot of the collectibles have been collected in my previous run for the review, so it's still fun to go after the collectibles. Oh yeah, and there's another feature I should add. Invulnerable to spikes, apparently, because he has a surfboard. So that is a huge change, really. Like, that is essentially removing a whole set of obstacles from the game. And, you know, pros and cons for both, but not sure it's how I like to play these games, still. Doesn't help that Funky Kong is also, I would say personally, the most annoying of the Kongs. I think there are a lot of other Kongs out there that don't get enough time on screen. You've got Chunky Kong, Tiny Kong, there was a Funky... Sorry, not Funky. I think there was a Swanky Kong in one of the games. It was like a game show host. Where's his special mode? Oh, missed a life. So yeah, as I mentioned, the actual core gameplay remains relatively untouched. And you do have the ability in Funky mode to select Donkey Kong before a level, and you can play a level in original mode. However, you can't do it the other way around. So if you do choose original mode from the beginning, you are unable to switch to Funky Kong. So you can't just use him to get through a tricky level. I think that's the first hit I've taken, well, second now. So he's not just a way to get through a tough level. It is something you do pick from the very beginning. And look, for any gamers out there who might not have played any games in this series before, this could be quite helpful. Don't have to worry about those spikes, of course. So many hearts. I mean, it does make you stop looking out for obstacles a little bit. I think I'd say probably the thing I could see Funky Kong being the most useful for is the speed running or the time attack modes, because that is a big part of these games, is going back and trying to beat some of these levels in the best time. And I think someone like Funky Kong... Wait, there's a secret over here. Someone like Funky Kong, I've already got it, would be quite good at the old speed running. There he is with his cheesy grin. Tank top jean cutoffs, straight out of the 90s. Alright, so I might skip ahead to a trickier level. And we'll see how he plays in one of those. I might go for the old speedrun actually and just see what he is like, because the momentum plays a big part in the Donkey Kong Country series. It's all about getting that roll speed up and hopping on enemies to try and clear all the gaps. He isn't, of course, invincible. If you do fall off a ledge, you will lose a life. So it is not a total cakewalk. But I mean, look at that. Not getting hurt by spikes is huge. I'm not sure I'm a fan. The double jump, I'm growing to like though. As I said, with that momentum and inertia, you can misjudge a lot of your jumps in the Donkey Kong series, which is very frustrating. Look, don't even have to worry. Just stand on it. So yeah, that double jump can kind of help you clean up if you mistime your jumps and get that timing perfect. Let's get some speed. Oh. Just gonna... I can go straight over the spikes. Oh. He does stop moving on the spikes, which is... Gonna skip all the secrets and just keep moving. Oh, I'm down to my last heart! Oh no! Could this be the end of Funky Kong? I'm sure I'll find another heart in a second. There you go, there's one. Whoop. There is, of course, one in this barrel as well. The lonely Funky Kong barrels. Alright, here we go. I mean, I guess if you've also played this before, if you did play it on the Wii U, it is always nice to have something different. Personally, though, I would have preferred a harder mode. Whoop. I'm pretty sure he just slammed one of those barrels with his butt, really showing off that that attitude. So again, it does make it a little easier to just speed through a level, especially if there's a level you've done before, and you think, I happy to just speed through it. And I think we've got one of these levels here, which is one of the bonus levels, which are a little trickier. So just to really test out that challenge, let's see what Funky Kong's like. And the stakes are raised. Again, I'm going to try and speed through it at my... Oh, look at that. Can't skip them all. Good size levels in this series. Whoa. Lots of checkpoints in between, so... One of the better platformers I think I've ever played. Might just be because I'm nostalgic from the olden days, but nostalgia needs to be innovated upon, and that's exactly what this game series does, so I am a fan. And that might be why I'm super critical of Funky, because I had, whoa dear, such a good time with the original. Oop. I will say, that double jump. I'm going to miss it if I go back to original now to continue my save file. It does make things very, very... Whoa! Very easy. Skipping a lot of the bananas and collectibles here, guys, just to show off the true funkiness. Oh, and that's the end of the level. Should really try and get that that DK symbol again. Oh, it's tricky here. Oh, no. Still plenty of hearts to spare, and let's try and get this. What do we need? Straight after the coin, I find. Oh, no! That'll do. So still plenty of collectibles to come back for. Whether or not I use Funky Kong or Donkey Kong, I'm still not fully decided upon. But it is nice to see a new feature in it. Something to test out in this new Switch version. So there you go, guys. That's Funky Kong, or Funky Mode, in the Switch version of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Remember to check out our review of the game, which will be coming soon. But that is all. Thanks for watching.